So it's a very uncomfortable
That's crazy, man.
precedent. I mean, one can understand on a human level why President Biden would fear for his family members, but and that too is sad and unusual in American history. But this is an odd precedent to essentially get a get out of jail free card for something that has not yet been identified as a crime.
You can see a live picture on your screen, east front of the Capitol. The Trumps and the Bidens are gathered for the farewell ceremony. Let's watch for a minute.
Somewhat of these people being civilized human beings. Put all that red and blue, left and right side. Got human beings served in the same office here, or you know what I mean? I wouldn't say same administration, but you're serving in the same job. You need to have some kind of civility between these folks. I think it's actually really great to see. This is probably the most we'll probably ever get, like, at this point, of all these folks put together. And now they're all departing here, huh? And they could go off to Kamala Harris is going to go off to California, and apparently Joe Biden's going to go to California as well, because the wildfires and everything like that. I'm sure he's going to go out there and show his support. Talking about Joe Biden. Apparently, Donald Trump should be there later on this week. I think he said Friday he'll be pulling up. He's got a lot of work to do in the meantime to lead up to that, but yeah, they freaking parked the helicopter right in front of the Capitol. That's so cool. Years and years ago, I sat right on those very steps to the left there. I walked this street over here to the right, where those big bunch of people are at. Not this scene. That very step is where the bill. If you've ever seen that little cartoon, the bill sits on that very step. The bill on Capitol Hill. But this brings me back. I miss DC. I don't miss it right now because it's super cold. I'm good on the freezing part here, but I'm good on the snow. So it seems like former president are on their way. Oh yeah, so Kamala Harris is going to California. Joe Biden, they have to go back to the White House to go be sent off, to my understanding. So they're all gonna get in Marine One. That's crazy work. Oh, okay. I was about to say he has to stay at the White House, or he has to stay at the Capitol. Wow, it's so crazy to see these people shaking hands and talking to each other, and yeah, so they have to be flown back to the White House, right? Or no. He's going to, was it Andrew, or he's going to some Air Force base, and he's going to be flown to California after all of this. My information is a little cloudy here. So we have President Trump and First Lady, with jdvance and the Second Lady. Doing their pictures and stuff, I'm sure.
As many of you know, inaugurals were traditionally held on the east front of the Capitol, where you see the president in the helicopter sitting right now. And that was until 1985 and 1981. And Ronald Reagan moved it to the west. Looking west was one of the themes of his first inaugural. And it's been on the West Front ever since. And of course, the second Reagan inaugural was held inside the rotunda because of the weather. And today's inaugural was held inside the rotunda, the first time in 40 years because of the weather. It's about 20, 25 degrees here in Washington, but quite windy.
I figured.
It was predicted to be a little bit colder than it actually is.
It's freezing.
So there'll be a truncated parade this afternoon at the Capital One Arena. That's where the Washington Capitals hockey team play and the Washington Wizards basketball team, and that will occur.
Marine One
this
swollen up.
afternoon. Of course, we will be live with that as well. But coming up at the Capitol after the Bidens take off
So that's
for
at
Andrews Air
3:30.
Force Base and fly to Santa Barbara, there
Is that
going to
3:30
be
my
a
time?
presidential visit to the overflow crowd. About 1,300 more people.
That's a couple
are
hours.
in Emancipation Hall, which is at the Congressional Visitor Center adjacent to the Capitol. The president will do some signing, and we'll find out what that's about. And then he
I'm
will
waiting for that. Okay, they got
attend a
snipers up there.
congressional luncheon and a review of the troops before he departs the Capitol.
For the White
today.
House.
Predicted about 3:30 p.m. before he gets out of there. So we will be back with our guest, Jeffrey Engel of Southern Methodist University. We'll talk about some of this afternoon's events, and we'll also be checking the news with John McCardle as we go. But let's watch Marine One take off.
Shout out to C-SPAN for this coverage. This is pretty legit. That's the 1977 inauguration of President Jimmy Carter. That's crazy. Shout out to hard-working Marines that are piloting Marine One and keeping it up to date, ready to go. Those brave Marines out there getting the president to where the president and his constituents and family to where they need to go. We're getting a lift off on Marine One. The angles. The angles are lit. Fascinating piece of machinery, like right there. Fascinating, man. I miss DC. Like, we'll have to come back. We're gonna have to come on back now. Yeah, they got the helicopters up there patrolling. Former President Biden is en route to California for a vacation. Okay.
Not bad, huh?
Okay, so he's not going to go back to the White House exactly. He doesn't need to. He could just get all of his people to go grab his
And
stuff.
the Bidens are off to Andrews Air Force Base. There will be a small ceremony there as well with,
Wow.
with the Bidens. And
What a
we will bring
send-off.
that to you at some point this afternoon as well. You can see Air Force One is there. It is not called Air Force One when the president is not riding on it. My guess is it's called Air Mission 46, President Biden being the 46th president. That's just a wild guess, and we'll find
Interesting.
out. But you can see that is readied for the Bidens to take them to California. You saw Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff get in their limousine and head to where they're heading as well. So that's Washington, D.C. on inaugural